everybody's like, Curtis, could you not fucking cuss so much? Could you just tone it back?
Right. I mean,
and you know what I say to that? Fucking no, dude. Welcome to Because Liberty. This is your host, Curtis Hart, and I have Mike Bluehair, and we're going to be talking to him about activism, a little bit about Antifa.
Thanks for taking the time to speak with me, Curtis. I very much appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. So, I contacted you to talk to you about Antifa, and what you know about Antifa, just mainly because I know that you at least used to live in Portland, and would have just more firsthand knowledge than I do. My knowledge of them is basically from the N30 protest for WTO back in '99, okay. So I haven't dealt with them firsthand in a while.
Well, Antifa is a small subculture that used to only interact with what I would call neo-Nazi groups or fascist groups. Like, there's something out of punk rock's subculture, you know?
Yeah, like Sharps?
Groups like Antifa operating in America since the 70s. You know, the birth of punk rock.
Yeah, back in the 90s, I was a member of the Anti-Racist Action Network, and used to go to a lot of shows and see, Sharps down there and whatnot, but, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So, when I was a kid in the late 80s, early 90s, young adult, teenager, it used to be considered your civic duty to get in a van and go to a racist skinhead show and jump out and see how many, boy fascists you could beat down. So Antifa is something that came out of that punk rock culture. So it's basically one small subculture going up against another, which is real National Socialist organizations, real Nazis. I think Antifa today in the 21st century, 2017, there's this dialogue on the internet that's affected the collective mindset of America, and I find it very dangerous, and I find it disheartening. And what it is that people on the left and the right go at each other in a very sociopathic way. They're willing to overlook any wrongdoing of someone who they are in the in-group with and the out-group. And something the left has done for at least 2 decades now is allowed the term racism and fascism to be redefined as anything they don't like. And now it's blowing up in their faces. See, it used to be a fascist and a racist was a KKK member or a neo-Nazi skinhead, a guy in a flight jacket with a swastika tattoo on his neck and white bootlaces. Now it's now these people are defining a racist as somebody who supports Trump. Personally, I think anybody who supports a left or a right-wing political candidate in America is fucking stupid. But, they're brainwashed. They're not fascist and they're not racist. They're just part of this culture of believing in this left-right dichotomy. But so it used to be one small subculture against another small subculture, right? But now that people on the left have with this whole special snowflake culture, this whole what's the best way to describe it?
Social justice word?
Like his rules for radicals.
Okay.
So the idea that if you don't like it's a leftist philosophy, and the idea is that if you don't like what someone says, call them racist, sexist, homophobic, classist. Insert ist here, and the idea is that you can win the argument as a leftist if you just sling a name at someone. Well, this has gotten way the fuck out of hand, and now, personally, what happened in UC Berkeley, the Antifa attack of the Milo Yiannopoulos,
shit show.
He was doing there. Milo is just a dangerous faggot. He's annoying. He's loud. He's funny. He's a right-wing a-hole. He calls himself a dangerous faggot.
Yeah,
I think
that's the name of the last video, by the way.
No. He's just an obnoxious faggot that likes to have fun and call people names, and he's sarcastic. He's got his own political views. But, now when Antifa attacked Milo and people's supporters, and a woman got pepper sprayed in the face, and there was a woman hit with a stick in the head, that is the end result of these 2 decades of the left instead of like engaging in a logical argument against someone's views, like conservative views or whatever, you know, and like I said, I don't have any dog in this fight. You know, I think a lot of these alt-right people that are attacking Antifa and a lot of these Antifa people that are attacking anybody who happens to be wearing a Trump hat are repugnant, violent goons. And, like, I don't see why they're even fighting with one another. I mean, here's one for you. Trump is president of the United States. He's won. So you don't have to have a Trump rally. You can go about your life. If you want to have a pro-Trump rally now, after he's already president, all you're doing is inviting people who don't like you to have a public fight. And people in the alt media are feeding on it like fish gobbling up kibble dropped on the top of the water. They love this shit. They want to watch people fight and hurt each other, because then they have their separated, polarized arguments, and the people on the right get to see, look, these Antifa goons, and these people on the left get to say, oh, look, you know, these alt-right people have neo-Nazis in their ranks, and they're beating us up. And it's just this fight that goes on, and I find it kind of fucking stupid. You know, stop beating on each other for your ideology and have a fucking conversation.
Oh yeah, definitely. The just like the conversation just stops, and it's definitely on both sides. You can watch you can just, all you have to do is look for it. Like, there's plenty of people on both sides saying it's not them, and it's like, well, you can. It's just easier to Google it yourself. I mean, I watched one video the other day. There's like two Antifa dudes in a group of about 100 Trump supporters, and they just end up whooping these guys' ass. I mean, I think at one point they did hit somebody with a stick, but I mean, when somebody hits one person with a stick, the reaction shouldn't be 30, 40 guys ravishly just beating his ass.
Yeah, that's the horror of a mob. And, you know, I've been doing some sort of activist videography since 2007. And the thing is, man, I've seen what, you know, a group of people can do to someone's body in just a few seconds, you know, half a minute.
Yeah.
And we're all caught up in it. Like, you know, when a mob on the street has no mind, there's a trigger event, and then there's a reaction, and the reaction is visceral. Okay, like, and it's usually violent, you know, and yeah, I mean, you know, Antifa people throwing smoke bombs and spraying people with fire extinguishers and then hitting them with the fire extinguishers because you don't like what they have to say. That's got to stop.
Yeah.
You know, alt-right people cornering little skinny, like 2 or 3 little skinny anarchist guys, you know, in their hipster skinny jeans and having a boot party. You know, that's got to stop. You know, I mean, like, all you people just need to chill the fuck out with the violence. I mean, seriously. I mean, it used to be that people respected freedom of assembly and freedom of speech, each other's rights.
Yeah.
You know, and they could actually have conversations. I mean, this whole violent thing, it really gets to me, you know. And, like, I've been at riots, like, you know, dozens of riots, and I do not, I can tell you people that you're going down a dark road. I mean, if you want a Civil War type thing between left and right, keep up with this bullshit, because that's kind of what you're going to end up seeing is, you know, mass violence. There's an interesting law called conspiracy against rights, and it doesn't just refer to, it's a federal law, you know. It's called conspiracy against rights, and it basically says that if you engage in an organized manner, when 2 or more people conspire to deny someone any of their rights afforded to them by the Constitution, you know, and a death involved, or a death is involved. So say Antifa, you know, organized to protest a Trump event, right?
Yeah.
And there's a fight, and someone dies, you can get a death penalty for it. And the same thing with these alt-right people. If they're organizing to shut down, you know, some sort of a leftist event or a left-wing type event, and a death involves, you can get the death penalty. If a death isn't involved and there's just proof of a conspiracy against rights, you can get it's a felony. You can get, like, I think it's what is it, $10,000 fine and a year in prison or something. Like, it's crazy. And like, there's something else. The left have this long tradition of being part of the labor movement, and quote unquote the chant is shut shit down, right?
Yeah.
So thing is that used to refer to, hey, I have a working class job and I'm not going to come in today because, you're not, down with what my union wants. But since, 90% of the industrial capacity has been shipped to China in this country, there is no grand proletariat. There's not going to be a socialist revolution because of globalism. Okay, we're dependent on China and India and everywhere else to buy their shit, and we are a service economy. I mean, where we used to have an economy in this country is fucking Detroit. It's urban prairie. All the buildings are grown up. There's trees growing up through factories. So that tradition of shutting shit down is part of the psyche of the left. And what do they have left? I mean, seize the means of production. What are you going to do? Lean over the counter at your convenience store job and grab the cash register? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to me. But that consciousness is still there. So one of the things that they'll do is, shut down the street.
Yeah.
It's part of their social psychology. And personally, I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, if you have a clearly defined reason why you're protesting, like here's what we've already petitioned government for redress of grievance, and here is what we're going to do to agitate because of said petition for redress of grievance. I mean, I'm an anarchist, but as a police accountability activist, I have to pay attention to law, and I have to pay attention to the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and things like that, because I'm pointing out the facts that the police do not adhere to that. Or
just because we're anarchists doesn't mean that. So just because we're anarchists doesn't mean we don't have to live in the state.
Right.
Deal with the state.
We're circling our wagons, especially in this whole Trump era. We're circling our wagons too tight and not talking to each other. I'm going to have some conversations with my ANCOM friends now after this, I'm sure, but whatever, we'll hug it out later. But that's the thing that I find dangerous, is that we're circling our wagons and becoming so rigid, because honestly, we're all part of the same human family. We all bleed red. We all have more in common than different. I really believe that.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm going to let you go.
All right, man.
And get started on editing this. So I will talk to you later. And you have a good day. Okay, and that was Mike Bluehair. You can go to youtube.com/Mike Bluehair more than likely, or you just search anywhere on YouTube, Mike Bluehair. And there we go. I felt like that was a good dialogue, a lot of good information there. You have a good day, folks. Be happy, be free, because liberty.
Everybody's like, Curtis, could you not fucking cuss so much? Could you just tone it back?
Right. I mean,
and you know what I say to that?
I mean,
fucking no, dude.